Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Kala Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakudash. Peace and double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hope of the light. I'm going to just make sure the audio is good, and then we can get right into this brief lesson. Lord's will, it is going to be edifying. All right, let's see right here. All right, sounds good. So, as you can tell by the topic, I'm going to be addressing this recent Iuic versus Isupk dust up. All right, and very easily could have been avoided. All right, it was very petty from what I witnessed and observed through the spirit. It was very petty, and they were looking at any reason to get out into a brawl. And listen, where brothers teach in Harlem, you know, when I go to camp on Saturday in Harlem, we see Iuic is on 125th. And never did it cross my mind to go over there or teach right next to them, or really, even if I were to see them just walking around, let's say it happened, I would just say Shalom. Unless it happened to, really approach me or approach brothers at camp, and there would be really no reason to even have an interaction. We already know they don't see things the same way as we do. So there'd be no reason, but these guys, they saw it fit. And because of pride, they saw it fit to just be within feet of each other teaching camp. Now, obviously, what did you think was going to happen? You see, but this is what happens when you have no discernment. Discernment is the key critical aspect of the truth, man. Discernment. A shalom to the beloved brother right here. Yahweh Hashem, Yashai B'Hashem, Chakadash, Barakatah. DMS in his likeness. Shalom to that brother. And whoever else is tuning in. Yahweh Hashem, Yashai Barakatah. This is Ecclesiastes 7 and 9. Be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools. In the GNT, it says, keep your temper under control. It is foolish to harbor a grudge. You see, and men that actually know how to use their bodies in combat, they're not quick to just get into a brawl because they understand the irreparable damage that can be done. But if you're just a loose cannon, you have no self-control. That's one of the pillars of wisdom. It mentions in Wisdom of Solomon, temperance. Temperance, justice, courage, and prudence, I believe, is the four. What I was going to, through the Spirit of the Lord, is the cardinal virtues. So there's one of them. You can't have a three-legged table. So if those are the four pillars of wisdom, that's what holds up the table. So if you're missing one, which let's say in this example is temperance, self-control, then wisdom is not there. All right, in its entirety. Okay. Oh, well, look what it says in the 8th verse, Ecclesiastes 7 and 8. The end of something is better than its beginning. Patience is better than pride. You see, if they would have, let's say Iuic or Isupk roll up on us, or let's say I was teaching out by myself in Babylon, for whatever reason they were out here in Long Island, and they roll up. We teaching here. I say, all right, man. Listen, usually I teach here, but y'all got it. Go ahead. Shalom. And that's it. But this is what happens when you have carnally minded men. And the Spirit of the Lord is not with Iuic or Isupk. Point blank, period. And this is an example of the Lord turning our enemies against each other, man. You see? So this is what happens, man. This is what happens, all right? Let's get Matthew 5. Matthew 5 and 25, it says, agree with thine adversary quickly whilst thou art in the way with him. Applying to Esau, Edom, if you deal with get into a running with the police, you're supposed to agree with them, Usually if I get pulled over, I'll make sure, my hands are out the window to show that I don't have my hand on any type of weapon or anything. And I say good evening or good afternoon or good morning, officer. Is everything okay? And treat them, But if you have so much pride, you're not going to be able to do that. And now applying it to this situation, you can apply that same mentality of taking the low to anything, man. When Yahushua comes back, he's going to put his elect on top. So the elect men out there, they're not going to feel the need to try to flex or try to get the one up, because they're going to have that spirit of faith from the Lord that the Lord is going to give them the victory when the time comes. What's the sense in trying to get a senseless victory on this side, something vain, when we could wait on the Lord and really be rewarded? But if you try to take it into your own hands, then hey, man, that's really a faithless act. And then you saying, well, basically, I'm gonna take care of it because I don't believe the Lord could take care of it. Essentially, that's what you're doing. It says, agree with thine adversary quickly, whilst thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. See? And a lot of these situations could lead to prison, lead to somebody getting locked up, assault. And a lot of these individuals, man, are like, I could imagine, especially Iuic, being litigious, man, being quick to sue or quick to try to have you in a fucked up situation. So again, applying that wisdom, hey, there you go. This brother put Proverbs 15:1, a soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. See? You got to know how to diffuse, to de-escalate situations. That's a part of having wisdom, man. You see? That's a very key part of having wisdom, diffusing situations, discernment. The shit can go up. This is Babylon, and you don't know who's holding what. Somebody can have a weapon on them. Somebody can have a taser. Somebody can have a gun. So you want to be very quick to diffuse a situation, and just avoid it altogether, man. This is why I don't like going out to places, these clubs and all this shit. Like, don't get me wrong, every so often you might catch me there at a night spot, or like, a little lounge, whatever. But for the most part, I avoid it because it's a bunch of drunken foolishness. And these guys weren't even drunk. They were acting like they were drunk, at least as far as we know, based on the video. They drunk off them philosophy. They drunk off Jesus. Isupk is drunk off General Yohana. And all these guys, they don't have the correct doctrine. So what's happening? The Lord is exposing them. GMS in his likeness put 1 Timothy 5:22, lay hands suddenly on no man, neither be partaker of other men's sins, keep thyself pure. See? Lay hands suddenly on no man. And it was super petty, man. Super petty. Some real adolescent shit. Or you put your thing there, and that. Come on, man. That could have been so easily avoided. But the Lord wanted it to happen to expose the foolishness of these groups, the carnality of these groups. You see? These men. Let's get into some scriptures on temperance, man. Oh, look. Hey, check this out. Excuse me. Galatians, the 5th chapter. Let's start around. Let's see. Yeah. Galatians 5:22. But the Spirit produces love, joy, peace. And this is all sign that the Spirit is not with these guys. Do you see us? We out there on the highways, and do you ever see us getting into straight brawls and fisticuffs? Don't get me wrong. There is certain situations where somebody might actually try to come up to us and assault one of us, and then you have to defend yourself. And it's good to know how to defend yourself. You know, you see somebody come up, don't just be standing with your legs right next to each other. Square up, not as though in an aggressive fashion, but fix your feet in a position to where you have some balance. To where if somebody were to try you, you're not just standing with your legs right next to each other. Then you're easier to knock down like that. If you have your legs square diagonally across from each other, then you have more balance. The Eiffel Tower, when you look at the base of it, the legs go outward. So that gives it more stability. But that's in the self-defense sense. All right. These guys were just over some real petty shit. Somebody moved something somewhere. I kind of saw the clip. I briefly saw the clip on my phone, but based off watching the brothers' lessons, I got the gist of what happened. And it was petty and it was avoidable. But again, the Spirit is not with these groups. So love, joy, peace, patience, kindness. Patience. Where was the patience? At the end of the day, yeah, we don't agree on the doctrine, but that doesn't mean we have to be animals toward each other. You see? I done seen guys from other camps and I'll say Shalom, and they might look at me like I'm crazy. They might be a Negro only camp. They might not even think I'm an Israelite because they say, oh, that's Latino motherfucker. I don't know what this dude is, but I'll still say Shalom and just keep it pushing. And just from the, showing the level of integrity, they got to respect it at the end of the day. And even if they don't, well, shit. You can't control what other people do, but what you can control is what you do. And this is a great lesson, and it's good for all brothers to really take heed, especially younger brothers like myself and brothers that are just freshly coming in too. To have the proper conduct on the highways and hedges, man. We're out here and it's a war. There's many spirits out here, and things can go left very quickly. So it's good to have patience. All right. It says again, but the Spirit produces love, and this is from the GNT, Galatians 5:22 from the GNT. But the Spirit produces love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, humility, and self-control. Ooh. Where was that? If the Spirit was there, there would be self-control. And believe God's done tried us many times, man. I can say from personal experience, I know of examples of dudes trying to come up on some shit. But you think, you have faith in the Lord and you prepared to do what you got to do. If the time be, if somebody put hands on you, then you are justified in defending yourself, of course. But this was just an example of just carnality, just no sense of just avoiding conflict. Let's just dive into the conflict. But that's niggas for you. Humility and self-control. There is no law against such things as these. Right. So the Spirit has to give you these traits and qualities. You see, there's no law per se that can really give you these particular qualities, because the wicked scribes and Pharisees, they were following, even though they weren't following correctly, and the Lord cut them and showed their hypocrisy, but they were following the laws, right? But yet they didn't have the humility. They didn't have self-control. All right. Temperance, man. Temperance is very important. Yep. Look at this. 2 Peter 1:5. It says, and beside this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue, and to virtue knowledge, and to knowledge temperance, and to temperance patience, and to patience godliness, and to godliness brotherly kindness, and to brotherly kindness charity. See, the point being though, temperance. Where was the temperance? Where was the sense of self-control? Making this is some WWE shit, man. You know, all over what? All over something that could have easily been avoided, but nobody wanted to yield because these men, they're gonna follow their leaders. The scriptures talk about that, as is the king. Something about the king in the city. Let me see if I can find it. Basically, as is the leader, you know, those that inhabit the city. Oh yeah, here it is. Sirach 10:2. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of ruler of the city is, such are all that they that dwell therein. So yeah, so you have these camps and their leaders are full of pride and their leaders don't have self-control, you know, because if you had self-control, you wouldn't be doing a 501c3 charter. You would be patient and wait on the Lord to justify you and to take care of you. You don't need to have a government contract to be tax exempt and change up your doctrine, you know. But those that stay in those groups, they're gonna be slated for destruction. They got a missile with their name on it, and we're not afraid to say it, man. All right, because the Lord takes His word very seriously. All right, you guys out there, you want to be on some everybody unity, unify, teach whatever you want. We know and understand that's not how the Lord gets down. Can two walk together except they be agreed? Roughly paraphrasing, but you know, this is not a game, okay, where you could teach whatever you want to teach and I'll teach it, but as long as we know we're Israel, you know, and we keep the commandments to the best of our ability. No, there's such a thing as being a false prophet. There's a judgment. Deuteronomy 13 goes into dreamers of dreams. You know, you cause Israel to go astray by a dream, then the Lord is going to deal with you. All right. So yeah, the doctrine is important. This is why it's so important. And this is why you see we don't deal with these other camps and these type of individuals. You know, people come on the comments talking about, well, why can't everybody just unify? You don't know the Bible. You ain't reading the Bible. All right. Or maybe you got some other type of version that has all of the scriptures about the doctrine and the importance of the doctrine, that all them scriptures just ain't in the Bible that you're reading. You got some other version or something, or you're just an idiot, or you're just spiritually inept. Either or all of the above. But this is why the doctrine is so important, man. Let's read this. Proverbs 25:15. By long forbearing is a prince persuaded, and a soft tongue breaketh the bone. Let's see what it says for that in the NLT. Proverbs 25:15. Let's see. It says, patience can persuade a prince, and a soft speech can break bones. Let's see what it says in the GNT. Yeah, look at that. Patient, and this is a great translation of it. Proverbs 25:15 in the GNT. Patient persuasion can break down the strongest resistance and can even convince rulers. In other words, words have power, and when you use them properly, they can defend. You know, they can be a spiritual weapon. You see? So yeah, words are powerful. Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never harm me. That was a damn lie. Learning that growing up, that's a straight up lie. Because the things that you say, the Lord is going to hold every one of us accountable. And that's why we hold the purity of this doctrine to be in such a high regard. You see? And that's why we don't have any dealings with these groups, man. We avoid them. You know? It's nothing personal. It's just the truth, man. It is what it is. So let this be an example of what not to do, of how not to be, and let this be an example so that we can see and avoid these type of situations. If another camp rolls up on you and they say, "Well, we taking this spot," blah blah. Listen, man, you got it, bro. The fuck you think this is, man? The Bloods and the Crips. We trying to claim blocks. We don't give a shit. I'll go prophesy down the block or something. Who cares? But that's that pride. I'm here. This is my spot, bro. You don't know. We don't own anything here. This is Esau's world, anyways. You over here claiming blocks, claiming spots. You know, now if brothers have been in the same spot for a long time and somebody else comes up, yeah, it's classless. You know, it's rude. It's an asshole. It's a dickhead move to try to take somebody else's spot. And you see that they've been building there. You're not supposed to build on somebody else's found. You know, what's the scripture? You know, pretty much you don't want to establish your own. You know, you don't want to establish your own foundation. So you want to just basically mimic or try to fulfill the lot of another group. If they've been teaching there, leave them there and then go teach somewhere else. There's plenty of places to go, highways and hedges all over this motherfucker, man. This is a land of traffic. You know, how could you not find another spot to teach at? But y'all just had to be without some demons on her. Y'all just had to be in the same spot, in the same proximity. I'm going to be shouting at the top of my lungs and you're going to be and then expect nothing to happen. Of course, something's going to happen. That was a failure of leadership. Whoever was the head of those camps should have said, yo, let's fall back, man. You know, it's all good. Y'all want to teach here? Cool. We'll go over here for now. Situation avoided, but that's what happens when pride is in there. GMS in its likeness, and we're going to close out with this. 2 Corinthians 13:5, examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves, how that Yahushua HaMashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates? Examine yourselves, man. And we all ought to examine ourselves. And part of being in the faith is having discernment, knowing, you know, wise as serpents, harmless as doves. A serpent knows when to strike, and a serpent knows when to hold back. And doves represent peace. So we ought to be mindful, because the scriptures talk about to mind our conduct, that the ministry be not blamed. See, and now all of y'all got egg on your face. But hey, you know what? With that, we're going to go ahead and close it out. Point was made. You know, don't be carnal, be spiritual, and pray unto the Lord for a spirit of discernment. And ultimately, the Lord has to protect us and put angels around us and a hedge of protection around us, because there is many people out there that want to be carnal and things like this, you know. Sooner or later, they're really going to try to come for us, you know. And it has happened, and it will be happening more, but we have faith that the Lord is going to protect us no matter what. So there ain't nothing to be worried about. That's the last of our words. We concerned about what's pleasing to the Lord in our own journey, working out our own salvation with fear and trembling. So with that, all praise, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Machakodash, Shalom, Barakathama to the whole elect. And Lord's will, I catch up with the next lesson. Shalom.